let us finish the story in which we find out that tigers don't climb trees. So, and Kanga had just sent off Roo and Tigger with their sandwiches. And off they had gone. And now they went, Tigger told Roo, who wanted to know all about things that tigers could do. Can they fly, asked Roo. Yes, said Tigger. They're very good flyers. Tigers are. Stormy good flyers. Ooh, said Roo. Can they fly as well as Owl? Yes, said Tigger. Only they don't want to. Why don't they want to? Well, they just don't like it somehow. Roo couldn't understand this, because he thought it would be lovely to be able to fly. But Tigger said it was difficult to explain to anybody who wasn't a Tigger himself. Well, said Roo, can they jump as far as Kanga? Yes, said Tigger, when they want to. I love jumping, said Roo. Let's see who can jump farthest, you or me. I can, said Tigger, but we mustn't stop now or we shall be late. Late for what? For whatever we want to be on time for, said Tigger, hurrying on. In a little while they came to the 6 pine trees. I can swim, said Roo, if I fell into a river and I swimmed. Can tigers swim? Of course they can. Tigers can do everything. They can climb trees better than Pooh? Asked Roo, stopping under the tallest pine tree and looking up. Climbing trees is what they do best, said Tigger. Much better than Pooh's. Could they climb this one? They're always climbing trees like that, said Tigger. Up and down all day. Ooh, Tigger, are they really? Well, that was interesting. Oh, Tigger, are they really? I'll show you, said Tigger bravely. And you can sit on my back and watch me. For of all the things which he had said Tiggers could do, the only one he felt really certain about suddenly was climbing trees. Ooh, Tigger, squeaked Roo excitedly. So he sat on Tigger's back and up they went. For the first 10 feet, Tigger said happily to himself, up we go. And for the next 10 feet he said, I always said Tiggers could climb trees. And for the next 10 feet he said, not that it was easy, mind you. And for the next 10 feet he said, of course there's coming back down too, backwards. And then he said, which will be difficult. Unless one fell, which would be easy. And at the word easy, the branch was standing on broke suddenly, and he just managed to clutch at the one above him and felt himself going on. And slowly he got his chin over it, and then one back paw, and then the other, until at last he was sitting on it, breathing very quickly and wishing that he had gone in for a swim instead. Roo climbed off and sat excitedly next to him. Ooh, Tigger, he said excitedly. Are we at the top? No, said Tigger. Are we going to the top? No, said Tigger. Oh, said Roo rather sadly, and he went on hopefully. That was just a lovely bit just now, when you pretended we were going to fall bump to the bottom. And we didn't. Will you do that bit again? No, said Tigger. Roo was silent for a little while, and then he said, shall we eat our sandwiches, Tigger? And Tigger said, yes, where are they? And Roo said, at the bottom of the tree. And Tigger said, I don't think we'd better eat them just yet. So they didn't. By and by, Pooh and Piglet came along. Pooh was telling Piglet in a singing voice that it didn't seem to matter if he didn't get any fatter, and he didn't think he was getting any fatter what he did. And Piglet was wondering how long it would be before his haycorn came up. Look, Pooh, said Piglet suddenly, there's something in one of the pine trees. So there is, said Pooh, looking up wonderingly. There's an animal. Piglet took Pooh's arm in case Pooh was frightened. Aww. Aww. Is this one of the fiercer animals, he said, looking the other way? Pooh nodded. It's a jaguar. What do jaguars do? Asked Piglet, hoping that they wouldn't. They hide in branches of trees and drop down on you as you go underneath, said Pooh. Christopher Robin told me. Perhaps we'd better hadn't go under, said Pooh. Oh, go under, Pooh, in case they dropped and hurt himself. They don't drop themselves, said Pooh. They're very good droppers. They don't hurt themselves, said Pooh. They're very good droppers. Piglet still felt it would be a mistake. That to be underneath a very good dropper would be a mistake, and he was just going to hurry back for something which he had forgotten when the jaguar called out to them. Help, help, it called. That's what jaguars always do, said Pooh, much interested. They call help, help, and then when you look up, they drop on you. I'm looking down, cried Piglet loudly, so as the jaguar wouldn't do the wrong thing by accident. Something very excited next to the jaguar heard him and squeaked, Pooh and Piglet! Pooh and Piglet! All of a sudden, Piglet felt that it was a much nicer day than he thought it was, all warm and sunny. Pooh, he cried, I believe it's Tigger and Roo. So it is, said Pooh. I thought it was a jaguar and another jaguar. Hello, Roo, called Piglet. What are you doing? We can't get down, cried Roo. Isn't it fun? Pooh, isn't it fun? Tigger and I are living in a tree, like owls, and we're going to stay in this tree forever and ever. I can see Piglet's house. Piglet, I can see your house from here. Aren't we high? Is Owl's house as high up as this? And here's a picture of Piglet and Winnie the Pooh looking up at the jaguars. And here's the picture of Roo and Tigger in the tree. How did you get there, Roo? Asked Piglet. On Tigger's back, and Tiggers can't climb downwards because their tails get in the way, only upwards, and Tigger forgot about that when we started, and he's only just remembered. So we've got to stay here forever and ever, unless we go higher. What do you say, Tigger? Oh, Tigger says if we go higher, we shan't be able to see Piglet's house. So we're going to stop here. Piglet, said Pooh solemnly, when he had heard all this, what shall we do? And he began to eat Tigger's sandwiches. Are they stuck? Asked Piglet anxiously. Pooh nodded. Couldn't you climb up to them? I might, Piglet, and I might bring Roo down on my back, but I couldn't bring Tigger down, so we must think of something else. And in a thoughtful way he began to eat Roo's sandwiches too. Whether he would have thought of anything before he had finished the last sandwich, I don't know, but he had just got to the last but one, when there was a cracking in the bracken, and Christopher Robin and Eeyore came strolling along together. I shouldn't be surprised if it hailed a good deal tomorrow, Eeyore was saying. Blizzards and whatnot. Being fine today doesn't mean anything. It has no what's that word? Well, it has none of that. It's a small piece of weather. There's Pooh, said Christopher Robin, who didn't mind what he did tomorrow as long as he was out in it. Hello, Pooh. It's Christopher Robin, said Piglet. He'll know what to do. They hurried up to him. Oh, Christopher Robin, began Pooh. And Eeyore, said Eeyore. Tigger and Roo are right up in the 6 pine trees and they can't get down. I was just saying, put in Piglet, that if only Christopher Robin and Eeyore, if only you were here, then we could think of something to do. Christopher Robin looked up at Tigger and Roo and tried to think of something. I thought, said Piglet earnestly, that if Eeyore stood at the bottom of the tree and Pooh stood on Eeyore's back and I stood on Pooh's shoulders, and if Eeyore's back snapped suddenly, then we could all laugh. Ha ha! Amusing in a quiet way, said Eeyore, but not really helpful. Well, said Piglet meekly, I thought... Would it break your back, Eeyore? Asked Pooh, very much surprised. That's what would be so interesting, Pooh. Not being quite sure till afterwards. Pooh said, oh! And he began to think again. I've got an idea, cried Christopher Robin suddenly. Listen to this, Piglet, said Eeyore, and then you'll know what we're trying to do. I'll take off my tunic, we'll hold on to each corner, and then Roo and Tigger can jump onto it, and it will be all soft and bouncy for them, and they won't hurt themselves. Getting Tigger down, said Eeyore, and not hurting anybody. Keep those 2 ideas in your head, Piglet, and you'll be all right. The Piglet wasn't listening. He was so agog at the thought of seeing Christopher Robin's blue braces again. He had only seen them once before when he was very younger, and being a little overexcited by them, he had to go to bed a half hour early than usual. But he always wondered, since they were really as blue as the bracing as he had thought them. So when Christopher Robin took his tunic off, and he felt quite friendly to Eeyore again, and held the corner of the tunic next to him, and smiled happily at him. And Eeyore whispered back, I'm not saying there won't be an accident now, mind you. They're funny things, accidents. You never have them till you're having them. When Roo understood what he had to do, and was wildly excited, and cried out, Tigger, Tigger, we're going to jump. Look at me jumping, Tigger. Like flying, my jumping will be. Can Tiggers do it? And he squeaked out, I'm coming, Christopher Robin. And he jumped straight into the middle of the tunic. And he was going so fast that he bounced up again, almost as high as they were before, and went on bouncing and saying, ooh, for quite a long time. And then at last he stopped and said, ooh, lovely. And then he put him on the ground. Come on, Tigger, he called out. It's easy. But Tigger was holding onto the branch and saying to himself, it's all very well for jumping animals like kangas, but it's very different for swimming animals like Tiggers. And then he thought of himself floating on his back down a river, or striking out from one island to another, and felt that it really was a life for a Tigger. How long, called Christopher Robin. You'll be all right. Just wait. Just wait a moment, said Tigger nervously. Small piece of bark in my eye, and then he moved.